My name is Onrie'S. You've seen me sell comics. I want to buy this comic.
Too bad, because that comic sucks!
You're watching Onrie'S Comic Mukbang Reviews. Prepare to get banged.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Onrie'S Comic Mukbang Reviews. I'm your host, Onrie'S. It is great to be here with you guys on this wonderful Sunday evening. We have an incredible show for you guys tonight. Big stack of comics to review. But on top of that, I am bringing a very special guest on to not only help me review these books, but to also help me with my rebranding. Because, we all got to level up in life. You don't want to get stuck in a muck and think that like your shit doesn't stink, because here's the truth, guys, your shit does stink, and it's important to wipe your ass and flush the toilet. Otherwise, it's going to spread all out throughout the house, and it's not going to be pretty. You don't want that shit to happen. All right. I mean, you don't want that shit to go everywhere. Okay. You need to contain that shit, and you got to use your creativity to stop this shit from spreading. And you want the good shit to spread, and that's the shit that doesn't stink, okay? But anyway, without further ado, I'm bringing our special guest on. Please welcome Mr. Jay Burns. What's up, Jay?
What's going on, man? I'm half expecting someone to show up with a runestone because we keep saying the word of curse.
Yes, dude, yeah, totally. Like, there's going to be a lot of cursing here. But before we get into cursing, I've been really like tweaking like my presentation here. Okay. I've been really working on this. It's taken me some time here, and I kind of want I love having you here because like we could get a live reaction from you,
yes.
As I like rebrand this show, because this could very well be the last mukbang we ever do. Oh. We're going to rebrand it, and like, I need your help, Jay, because you're fucking good with this shit, man. You're a fucking marketing genius. You're fucking, this shit, man.
Onrie'S Buckman reviews.
Well, before we get into that, how are you doing, man?
Oh, good, man. I've been playing old man today, just napping all day.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. We all need a little rest in order to be our best, and you're working really hard. Now, in case there's someone here who doesn't know who you are or what you do, can you tell us a little bit about, all the wonderful things you do?
Wow, Ed, thanks for that. First of all, I think Bentley's a lot cuter than me, by the way.
I don't know. It's kind of tied.
Yeah, I got that puppy dog look. I'm Jay. I work for The Experience. I'm a producer behind the scenes. I work most of the shows, so Kyle can do all the really hard work. I also have my own channel with my wife and my buddy, Hydrosylum Comics. See the awesome hat that Ed in the comments made me. Love it. I wear it every show. We have our own thing called the Hydra Hangout that we do on Saturdays. We did that last night. Had a We're Not at San Diego Comic-Con kind of show, talking about some of the really cool stuff that came out. And I'm not just talking about the movies, the movie announcements. There was some awesome actual comics that they talked about.
Oh man, totally. We're gonna have to actually talk about that. Like, absolutely, for sure. Some really cool stuff happening. Awesome. Well, do us a favor, Jay. In the private chat, drop a link to your channel on YouTube, and we'll share it on here and make sure everybody sees it. But since we know who you are and what you do, you guys can see why I brought Jay on for this very important job here. And I'm going to share my screen right now. Okay, guys? So I'm thinking about renaming my show. And I've got like 3 different ideas, okay? But here's the first idea. And I'm going to share it with you guys right now. And then I want to see what Jay thinks. All right, this is it here. Okay, Jay, we need to see your reaction to this.
No. You know what? This is the first time I've ever been on this side of StreamYard, right? So there's no cancel, folks. Not that I would cancel Onrie anyway, but he's doing a great job of canceling himself. My goodness.
Well, what's wrong with this? I don't understand. What's wrong with the Compin comic conversation? It's the supreme. It's a supreme, like, No, did I got an A on this? We got an A.
Look, here we go. I'm gonna tell you this. So, see, there you go, Joey. Cancel. So my every week I do a list book, and what it is, I put the list of comics people have given me on a wheel. They're comics I've never read before or I've wanted to read and just haven't had time to. The pick we had this past Saturday was from Ed, and it was Mouse. So after reading that and then seeing this, I'm like,
oh, you haven't seen anything yet. Hold on a second. All right, hold on. Guys don't like this? Fine, whatever. I'm a creator. I can handle this shit. Do you know how many ideas I throw out there that get rejected all the fucking time? And then I gotta like put one foot in front of the other. I'm fucking invincible, okay? I don't care. I'll throw 1,000 bad ideas at you before we find a good one. Now, you were mentioning what you did see, but here's something you did not see. Check it out, guys. See? What do you think of that one? Is that good, Jay?
oh, goodness.
Is it the comic book Nazi?
Oh.
See, but like it's not Nazi, it's like Nazi. See? No,
you're fucking beautiful, man.
Well, here I'm still not done yet. Okay, well, you're saying I'm beautiful, so it's a front runner. The comic book Nazi will air every Wednesday going forward. We're not going to be doing any more mukbangs. We're done with the mukbangs, okay? This is it. Unless you guys like this last idea more, which I'm really happy with this last idea. I think I fucking really nailed it here. You guys don't like that? That's fine. Don't worry. I can take it. I can take the criticism. But this is my coup de grace, okay? We're going to get away from all the innuendo. What do you think? You got a winner? You got a winner.
Bro, that's top tier.
All right, that's top tier. Suck my balls. That's what we're going to call this show going forward.
The colors, like, man, that's just, that is fantastic. Who's going to be offended by that?
I hope nobody. It's like, if people get offended like all the time, like the last thing I want to do is like offend people. Like we're here to talk about comics. And this kind of like avoids everything. And it's like, it's not telling you what to think. It's telling you what to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's exactly what I love about it. We really, I was like really thinking about it, but like either way, all right, whatever. I got like 1,000 more of these fucking ideas. We don't have all night to go through it all. But Jay, one of the reasons why I wanted to invite you on this show is because the Mukbang Reviews, this is a show where I review all the new comics that come out. Not everybody's reading all the new comics as they come out on a weekly basis, but you are still really, like you're really entrenched in everything that is happening in comics. And, I having you on here and, sharing some of your knowledge of comics and being able to kind of keep the conversation going, I think will make for a great show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So, and then you had some books you wanted to review too. So like, we can kind of like go back and forth. And since you're our esteemed, humble guest, if you want to like start with like your own review of whatever you read this week, like I'd be happy to let you kick it off.
Sure. There was a book that I'd been wanting to read for a long time. Finally got around to it. I subscribe to Global Comics. It's an app where you can, read some free books. Some of them aren't. But I got into reading Jimmy's Bastards from Garth Ennis.
Yeah.
My goodness. Look, I said this on my show when I talked about it last night. I know that there are a lot of preconceived notions about Garth Ennis. All he writes is edgelord stuff like Crossed and The Boys. But there are some books that Garth has done. His Punisher run, his Max Punisher run, excellent. Love that series. His 007 series he did after Philip Kennedy Johnson was really, really good. A Walk Through Hell. Sean had got the complete series in issues, and I read a couple. And after the 3 that I read, I went right to Amazon and ordered the trade and read it. Like, Walk Through Hell is fantastic. Jimmy's Bastards, though, it has that, it's a Garth Ennis book. It's so deliciously messed up. The whole point of it, and little spoilery talk, folks, but I'm telling you, whatever I tell you is not going to spoil it until you read it. So you have this this MI6 agent who's like this world's 007. His name is Jimmy Regent. He always wins, always fools the bad guys. He's smooth. He gets all the ladies. Well, in this instance, getting all the ladies kind of comes back to bite him in the ass, because all of his bastards get together and their main goal is to kill Daddy.
Oh, wow. That is awesome.
There's a lot of them.
Isn't this, Joey says, wait, isn't this an edgelord show?
Well, I mean,
edgelord-ish.
Edgelord-ish. I mean, no poo-poo and pee-pee talk just yet.
Yeah, no poo-poo and pee-pee talk. And remember, I'm Jewish, so that means I'm circumcised, so it's kind of like edged out Lord show. Yeah. But that's a great concept. And with Garth, you can that says Garth so much. And let's not forget one of his other like incredible books that he wrote, Preacher. That's like my favorite freaking Garth Ennis book of all time. He's done some incredible stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And I think unfortunately he gets labeled with just those 2 books. That people see Garth Ennis's name, and the first they think is The Boys. And unless you have a messed up sense of humor like I do, I think The Boys is fantastic.
Yeah,
I love the show. Crossed was a little much for me.
Yeah, it's not for everybody.
Yeah, but unfortunately it stops people, and I'm like, look, folks, just like actors don't make all the same movies, comic book writers don't make all the same books. You may think The Boys is the most disgusting thing you've ever read, but I'm telling you, his 007 run is fantastic. The Dynamite 007 one is great. And this book right here, you have there's so many kids. Like, there's so many kids. I'm like, this dude must have been banging since he was like 12 and had twins and triplets with some of these ladies. There's so many damn kids. But there's also something called the gender fluid that these kids are using, and it swaps people's bits. And just seeing, like, that's how you really know it's a Garth book, because, hey, this person has a hoo-ha now. They're going to go mess with it. Hey, I got boobs. I'm going to go play with them for days. Like, that's the part that's like, yeah, this is a Garth Ennis book. There's scenes like that. So if you're not into wild stuff, maybe this book won't be for you. But it outside of that, it is a really fun story. Like, it's only 9 issues long. They tried to do a secondary series, and I just found this out the other day. It was called Jimmy's Little Bastards. But unfortunately, this was around the time that Aftershock was having all their troubles. So it only went 2 issues. So there's only 2 issues of that. But the 9-issue story is the complete story. I'm just saying, if you're kind of on the fence about what Garth has done, give this one a shot. It was a fun book. I laughed hard.
Hey, was that like a pun there? Give this one a shot.
Yeah.
There we go. Well, I have to correct Leonard real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Leonard said
Garth Ennis.
No, hold on. Yeah, he said that was going to be my porn name. Hold on a second. Sorry, guys. Nope. What's up, Eddie? Joey, your porn name would be Garth Ennis. No, it's not. My porn name is Lev Landwehr because it's your middle name plus the street you grew up on. So what's your? Yeah, did you know that? And like Lev Landwehr, that's like a fucking great fucking porn name.
Middle name and street name you grew up on, huh?
Yeah.
Stuart Michael.
And then you know what I would say? Well, I'd be banging Stuart Michael. That's a good one too. When I'd be laying pipe, I'd be saying, get ready to take the L.
Oh my God.
David Moore in the house. Girth Penis.
David Moore.
Gareth
That's
Venus.
awesome.
All right, well, hold on. We got to play the David Moore video. Hold on.
David Moore!
You're not watching Kicking It with Honor. You're watching Onrie'S comic book mukbang. I just wanted to correct that for everybody. All right. But by the way, I just finished watching episode 3 of The Boys season 5. So it's interesting that you like just read that, like the segue here.
Yeah.
It fits. So, all right, I'm going to review my first book. Sorry, made Jay a little bigger here. What the fuck?
It's live, man. It'll be muscle memory eventually.
Yes. No, you know, it's not even that. It's just, you know, like I'm just trying to, you know, make this shit. No, I don't want to add myself as another camera. Hold on a second. Shh. No, I don't want to put a PDF up on here. No, I don't want a video file. Damn it. Hold on a second. You guys need to see these comics because I got this new camera here and like trying to make this work. All right, hold on a second. Extra camera. There we go. That's coming. All right, there we go. Now we just move it. Nope. Does it go here? Okay.
There you go.
Bingo. Bingo. I'm focused. All right. Just made a few porn jokes, but now I'm focused and I'm ready to talk some shit here. What the fuck? Oh, sorry. See, that's how angry I got. Shook the camera. All right. So we got Amazing Spider-Man number 33. We're like getting real freaking close to issue 1000 now. What are we, like 3 issues away? And this is like a pretty monumental moment for Spider-Man, right? 1,000 issues of Spider-Man. And the best concept that they can come up with as we're leading up to one of the biggest issues of Spider-Man yet is let's just do an homage to Jim Steranko with Spider-Man. Like, this to me is lazy. This is just like, we don't have any good ideas in the story to like let the story sell the book. So we're just going to borrow ideas that have already been used. Like, honestly, that's how I feel as a Spider-Man fan right now. I don't feel inspired by this cover at all. It's not that it's badly illustrated cover or anything, but this is like, this is fan art. This is not a build up to one of the biggest issues in Spider-Man history. We're talking about issue 1000. We're 3 issues away. Are you kidding me? Now, the interior artwork, it's pretty good. I mean, I like Ed McGuinness's artwork quite a bit. He's really good. I'll show you guys some of the artwork in the book. This is what's kind of nice about this camera, is you guys can kind of see it. Oh, and here's this douchebag Cormac. So I don't know if you know. Do you know the deal with him, Jay?
Is he like Uncle Ben's and is he
Yes.
a son?
Yes, he's Uncle Ben
Okay,
and
there
Aunt
you go.
May's son.
There you go.
And like somehow she gave birth to him and like thought she lost the baby, but she didn't lose him. He was raised rich and he knows that Peter Parker is Spider-Man and keeps making all these like stupid comments that like would make you not like him anyway because he's just so perfect. And then Spider-Man fights Jack-o'-lantern. Like, the artwork in this book is great. You know, like, honestly, top tier Spider. Like, this is the kind of artwork you want to see in a Spider-Man book. This is not the problem. The problem is this Cormac guy. Like, who gives a shit? I honestly, like, we're leading up to issue 1000. Who cares that Spider-Man has a cousin? It's fucking stupid. And like, you know, he's not even worried about being replaced, even though this guy is like totally trying to, you know, win over Aunt May and do all this stuff. But like, I don't feel any sense of like, I need to pick up the next issue. Honestly, it's kind of like watching a train wreck and I want to see what happens next in the train wreck. But like, the artwork is definitely not the problem. It's really the storytelling. I just feel like this is really uninspired. You know, well, because his name's Cormac, Eddie. That's why I didn't say Peter's cousin.
You know, when I first heard that name, I was thinking, are they making him like related to one of the Inhumans? Because isn't there an Inhuman named Cormac or Carmack or something?
Korvac?
Korvac. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I had it wrong anyway. But I don't know. I haven't read Spider-Man in a long time. It's hearing fans though talk about these newer books like this. That's like, why is it that we can get an Iron Man book that's fantastic?
Exactly.
Punisher books that have been great. Karnak. Thank you, Linda.
Karnak. Korvac also exists too, but yeah, Karnak.
Yeah. The Iron Man book that's been the Cap book. Like, why does it feel like those books right there are kind of kicking the crap out of almost every other Marvel thing that's coming out?
Well, like, I mean, come on. At this point, it's almost like they're not even trying to put in the effort here to tell us a good story. Like, they're just like, this feels like Sunday morning paper Spider-Man. This doesn't feel like, holy shit, something really serious is about to happen in Peter's life that me as a reader cares about, and I'm a Spider-Man fan saying this. So this is really disappointing to me. I mean, this is, and I don't know who to blame. You know what I mean? Like, is this a badly written book? I don't think it's a badly written book. Like, the dialogue's fine. It moves the story forward. I mean, shit, I can read this thing in like 10 minutes. And then
editorial, always blame editorial.
I do honestly blame editorial. Honestly, I do, because the editorial, like, this is a corporate comic. This is a fucking corporate this is what corporate comics looks like, guys. And it's one step up from AI comics just taking over and writing this shit and doing whatever. But like, honestly, this is corporate comics at its core here. This is creators being, completely castrated and just being told, hey, we need to do issue 1000. Let's just go in there. Yeah, damage control plays a role here, but like, do you give a shit? Like, I'm honestly asking everybody who's out here tonight, do you give a shit that damage control is showing up and Spider-Man's having a big, long conversation with them that goes on for multiple pages? I mean, honestly, for all those naysayers out there about the Clone Saga, at least the Clone Saga had you at the edge of your seat. You're like, what's happening next? Where's all that? It's not here in this book. I don't see it.
Yeah, I was talking with Nancy the other night. We were talking about Marvel and how DC for me has just been crushing it lately, and it feels like they're going to continue to. I was like, look, I read a couple months ago the original Spider-Man book, the one by Mark Waid. I told her, and I don't know what it was. I was at an emotional part in the story where, for those who've never read that, it's the Peter of that universe has died. It's another Peter over there, and he sees Aunt May and Mary Jane, and they have a conversation with them. I started tearing up reading this book, and it wasn't just because of the emotional punch. I was like, I'm going to be old man shakes fist at cloud. This reminded me when Marvel used to care. When they used to care about these books. When a book can make me that I mean, I'm a big blubber baby anyway. Most people know that. But when a book can make me that emotional with the writing, and I mean, Mark Waid is he's just fantastic at what he does. But then I tried to read, I can't even remember the last, that wasn't a single character focused book. I've tried to read some other stuff. I've tried to get into it, and I'm just like, I love Marvel, don't get me wrong. Like, little boy Jay got in trouble as a kid because he would tear the newspaper apart, getting the funny papers out of there. So I could read, the Spider-Man comic strips and things like that were in there. But again, you're about to hit issue 1000. Well, what does that matter if 60 issues nobody cares about?
Yeah, totally. 100%. And even this cover, it's like, how many times have you seen this is the cover for the next issue that's coming out. How many times have you seen Spider-Man punch Electro on a fucking cover? Like, it could be great, but like, this is the kind of art you see at a Comic-Con, and you see, some artist selling this exact image for like $30. Someone frames it and hangs it up on their wall, or, does whatever with it. But like, again, now we're 2 issues away from issue 1000. And honestly, it feels like a lot of these milestone issues are sort of like just like a big fanfare where it's like, oh, here's a tribute, and we bring in a bunch of creators to tell short stories about how much they love these characters. It's like, you're never going to get an Amazing Spider-Man 300 again, where we get the first appearance of Venom and like something really fucking awesome happens. It's just like, Here's just another comic. And, just to prove my point that I'm not just a endless hater of Spider-Man, here's a good Spider-Man book that came out this week. Spider-Man: A Long Way Home. Jonathan Hickman and I think it's Anima or Andy Kubert. One of the Kubert brothers did this one.
I think it's Andy.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Now this one is interesting because it's like it takes place in like an alternate universe, and obviously it's kind of playing to the whole thing about Brand New Day. And Joy's right. There's so many fucking ads in there, and honestly sometimes like I kind of appreciate that because I wouldn't be able to read all these comics if there weren't ads in them. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, but some of these books you can just read through like really fast. And sometimes it's kind of how I feel with Hickman's writing. It's like, when I see pages like this one right here where it's like there's so much space here for lettering, for caption boxes, for something. Like, let us get into this character's head, look at it from a creative standpoint of like what's not on the page. Like when I make comics, that's what I think about. I think there should always be a balance of art and reading, because that's what comics is, right? You don't want the art crowding or you don't want the writing crowding the art, and you don't want the art, without any extra context. Because the art should be doing a job of telling the story. You shouldn't need anything there. That's fine. What the writing is supposed to do, it's supposed to enhance the story that's being told sequentially. And I just don't see that happening in a lot of these comics. Like, it's almost like that Punisher special that they put out on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I don't know did you see it yet?
Oh yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. And it was great. Don't get me wrong. I liked it. The 15 minutes of Frank killing people in an hour was great. But in that time, it's like, how many shots did we get of like him looking over his shoulder and them like, slowly panning the camera as he's like turning his shoulder. And it's like, as he's looking over his shoulder, it's like, can you guys just tell us you need to get through screen time? It's like, it almost feels like the same thing at times when I'm reading these comics. But then you get some cool layouts like this one right here, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And again, you can't go wrong with the Kuberts, but again, just these big blocks of space that are just so underutilized with like these small captions. It's like you have to really kind of stop and make sure that like you're actually reading. And then the worst thing that happens is you go through pages and pages, and you get gobsmacked by big blocks of text here that just slow you down, and you're like, oh my God, like what the hell? And I hate that. I really do hate that. I feel like there should be a balance. Like, nothing wrong with the context here. We need this context. But what they've really done here that I think is interesting is it's sort of like a alternate universe Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's been recruited by S.H.I.E.L.D. to hunt down the Hulk. And the Punisher is actually working for S.H.I.E.L.D. or like some government organization, and his entire unit gets wiped out by the Hulk. So the Hulk's actually a bad guy in this. And I like that. And Leonard's right. That is Bendis style writing, where you go, a couple pages with no context and you get gobsmacked by lots of stuff. But, let's put all that aside. Is this a good story? Is it moving? Is it entertaining? Yes, it is. There's good stuff happening here. And if you can, set aside those, those thoughts, or like those observations, this can be a good book. And I enjoyed this. I like this a lot. This is better than Amazing Spider-Man.
And Ed and I had a conversation about this around the time that Spider-Man versus Predator was out, or Predator versus Spider-Man. I can't remember.
Yeah, that was a great book. I really like that one.
Why does it feel like these alternate universe stories or these one-shots, why does it feel like there's more care being put into these than your main continuity stuff?
Because I think with the main continuity stuff, they're trying to play it safe. Whereas with this other stuff, it's like, here's an Elseworld Spider-Man story. No one cares as much about this, so we can take more liberties and do some stuff. But like, I honestly am starting to fear that the days of Kraven's Last Hunt are behind us. Like those really riveting Spider-Man arcs. And I hate that. But as we get through this list of comics here, I got to say, like, in comparison, and I've talked about this before, like Superman right now is probably one of the hottest books, or sorry, it's not one of the hottest books. It should be the hottest book out there. fuck your absolute Martian Manhunter, guys. I'm sorry. If you're not reading Superman by Joshua Williamson and Dan Moore, you're behind. It is the fucking book right now. It's amazing. It does, especially this week's issue of Superman. That is not a corporate comic. That is a comic that comic, that the latest issue of Superman is a love letter to all of comics. The last arc of Superman is a complete love letter to comics. You know, once we get back to that with Spider-Man, I think we'll have some hope. You know, like that's my you know, my hope for all this, because I want to like this shit. You know, I don't like hating on this stuff. But one thing I forgot to say is my review. So this gets 2 out of 5 Onrie'S. I don't know if, you know, whatever my rating score is, and I'm going to give this one a 3 out of 5, which is average. 2 out of 5 is, you know, kind of like below average, but 3 out of 5, that's average. That's pretty much like what I think the prototypical comic is going to get. It's not that it's bad. It's not necessarily great. It moves the story forward. It's fine. But when you get to the point where you're getting like really frustrated, like that's where it falls into the 2 category for me. Now, this next book here, Jay, I'm really glad I brought you on, because I want to hear your thoughts on this.
I'm so excited. So my issue will be here soon. I did a little order from Third Eye Comics. Shout out to Third Eye. Great comic
Great
store.
shop. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. One of the best.
So I did get to read this though. Now, I am a Kirkman shill, folks. I love everything Kirkman does. Invincible is my jam. I think all of that stuff should be on Prime somewhere. Battle Beast, Capes, Brit, all that. Okay. This book surprised the hell out of me. Dude, it surprised. Like, I already was like, I'm going to love this. But when I got to the end of this book, I was just like, I have no clue what's going to go on. No clue. I love this. I love the 90s image feel that this book has. I love this book so much. This was, when I found out about this is the first thing I put on my pre-orders. When I did my pre-order, I did this book. I was like, I'm so excited for this. And I got to, like I said, I got to read it. I cannot wait to have the physical copy in my hand. This is already going to be a traded up for me, just based off that first issue. I already know I'm getting this traded 100%. Kirkman for me just does not miss. He does not. Skinbreaker. I love Skinbreakers. Like I said, Invincible. Just, yeah. I can't. This will be my pick of the week once I get it in. Like, regardless of what I read, this is going to be my pick of the week. I love this freaking book.
I think you took the words right out of my mouth. Honestly, the feeling is completely mutual. I feel the same way. And my God, guys, this book surprised the fuck out of me. In fact, I can't even talk about it because I don't want to take the surprise out of it for you guys. But I will tell you, when I first picked this up, and I actually had to go to 2 comic shops for this one, because the first one I go to, my LCS, he didn't have it. So I went to another shop. They didn't have it. Actually, I had to go to 3 shops. In the third shop, they were the ones who had Terminal. So I come to the third shop, worried that no one has it anymore, because I'm hearing that it's selling out everywhere, right? And I managed to get a copy of it. So I'm finally reading it, and I'm like, fuck, is this another one of these 90s, like, you know, blowjob books where it's like, oh, let's like just praise Jim Ree and Rob Liefeld, you know, like, let's just like give these guys like, you know, like the stroke, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And then that moment happens in this book, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yes.
And then after that, you're like, where the fuck is this going? Like, this is crazy. And it is, it's the same artist who actually did the Spider-Man book, I believe. It's Andy Kubert, right? Or Adam Kubert?
That one I don't remember.
One of the Kubert brothers, guys.
Yeah.
This is a group of guys. This is an artist. You know, both brothers had a really long stint on X-Men, which obviously this is clearly kind of like feels like an X-Men book.
Yeah.
But my recommendation with Jay. Pick this book up, read it, because this will shock you I'm so holy shit. I didn't expect this to go where it went.
Yep.
It was great. And because of that, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. This is definitely an above average book because I thought this was going to be one thing and then it flipped everything on its ass. And now I want to see what happens next. These are characters I can't say I'm really invested in yet, but I do have to say that what happens, the overall concept has got me thinking we're going somewhere. And I like that.
Yeah, I'm mad that I read it just because I got to wait for issue 2 now.
Yeah, exactly. Now you got to wait for issue 2. All right. So this next book here actually came out last week. And Roberto came into town last week. He was hanging out. Roberto helped me go through all my collection. He helped me integrate everything for Whatnot because I've been selling on Whatnot now. And like we went to a bunch of comic shops together, and he picked this book up. And he asked me what, well, he read it, and then I was like, this looks fucking weird. This is actually funny. And he was like, I don't know, you have to read it and then let me know what you think. So Roberto, this next review is for you. So this is from Bad Idea. And banana number 1 is about a big banana. And it actually the big banana is like, he's sort of the focal point of the story. But the story is actually told from the perspective of his number 2, this fucking guy here, who's been captured by I love this. This actually did make me laugh. The Bureaucratic Assimilation Division. The Bureaucratic Assimilation Division, which is bad, and I love that. And then there's a reference to Waukegan, Illinois, which is like literally 20 minutes from where I live. And there were some moments in here that actually made me laugh. But what was really interesting is that kind of like Amazing Fantasy, this is like a triple feature. And there's actually a story in here by Mark Waid and David Lapham, which was really cool. And then on top of that, you got another story after that by Robert Venditti.
Realligator.
Yeah, this was interesting too. And it kind of it has a very Calvin and Hobbes-ish feel to it.
Hey, welcome in, Anthony.
Anthony, how you doing? Thank you so much for subbing. You're awesome. So yeah, like this was interesting. I dug it. Like it made me laugh. I thought it was funny. It's hard to make me laugh with comics.
I need to check this out. I know that when they first came around, Bad Idea did some things that kind of had people pissed at them. They're like, well, I'm not gonna pick up their books. Well, they've restructured. Okay. Bad Idea puts out some great books. Like Megalith is one of the prettiest books I've ever seen drawn. If y'all haven't checked out Megalith, the Olympus saga from Bad Idea, Hank Howard makes me laugh. Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, that one makes me laugh. And like, I haven't checked this one out yet, but I want to. I've wanted to because Kyle said everybody needs to read this book. And normally when Kyle tells me to read something, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it hits a spot. Well, Anthony has a question for us, Jay, and I'm going to let you answer it. I have a question in general for you guys. When it comes to comics, no matter the writer or the artist, do you prefer the comment to be black and white or the comic to be black and white or with color?
I don't mind black and white comics. I have a Lone Wolf and Cub that's done in black and white. It's like Wind of the Whistling Tiger or something like that. I can't remember the actual name of it. I don't mind it sometimes. I prefer color mainly because my wife has a hard time seeing black, white, and grays. So a lot of our issues are in color. But for me, if the story's there, black and white's fine. I just usually, like I said, I usually prefer, the colored versions. That way, the wife can read them too. So, and I know that there's some other folks like Ed out in the chat. I hate calling you out for this, and I hate doing this, but I love Ed to death. Ed also has a problem seeing black and white comics.
Well, so, Ed, I got a quick question for you, because I just want to make sure here. Do you have a hard time seeing this this logo here, Ed? If you have a hard time seeing this logo, because it is in black and white, let me know if you have a hard time seeing it. If you do, that's okay. I just, And
Anthony, I also don't mind that. There are some comics you get where in the middle of it, it'll switch to a few black and white panels and switch back. For me, I can see either way. But preference wise, it's only because I'd like my wife is the single issues that are in our home are my wife's. Okay. Jenna loves comics just as much as I do. She loved them before we even met. So most of our collection, or if you ask her, all of it is hers. So.
Oh, that's great. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Well, honestly, I think the story tells us if it should be in color or black and white. That's my opinion. Jokes aside, I think that the story will tell us if it's in black and white or in color. Sin City works in black and white, but if you read the 7th book of Sin City, they use that they start using color in certain areas of the book, and that Yellow Bastard, same thing. It's they use that 3-color tone, and honestly, I think the story dictates whether it should be in black and white or in full color.
Mouse. I was just saying how I read the first 2 chapters of Mouse. First of all, super important book, folks. If you've never read Mouse, I'm only 2 chapters in. You should definitely check out Mouse. The only reason that I would want Mouse in color, because the black and white definitely works for that one. Definitely works for that one. Is so the people that can't see black and white could read it. That's literally the only reason.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for that, that book is a perfect example of that is a book that I personally could not see being in color.
No, totally. I'm 100% in agreement. And certain books, I think it's honestly at this point it's a preference. It's also sometimes a budgetary issue.
Mm-hmm.
Can the creator afford to color a book, or do they just want to release the book in black and white, but I think the story dictates. I think for the most part, I do appreciate a colored comic for sure, because coloring is very much an art too in of itself.
Yeah.
And the comics I produce are all colored comics. So I like to study different coloring styles and see what's going on. So I was having a conversation earlier and people were like, a lot of people are shocked by how much comics I read. They're like, oh, you must have a lot of free time on your hands. And it's like, I will always quote Jen King on this. Look at Jen King. Jen King is running a comic shop. She's the busiest woman I know in comics, running a brick and mortar. And she's sitting there reading comics every freaking week and reviewing them for her shows.
Yeah.
She does this so she can sell them better. And that's the primary reason why I read a lot of these comics too, because I come across them and I want to have conversations. I want the conversations I have with my customers to be as enriched as possible. When you have a knowledge of the stuff that is out there and you've read it, that helps, right? But on top of that, as a comics creator, I got to see what's going on out there. I don't think you can just ignore the stuff that the big two are putting out there if you're serious about being in this business.
Right.
You don't have to buy all the new stuff. That's my choice. But you definitely should be reading something at all times. Find that inspiration. People will say, I don't read comics. Come on, you're in this business. You got to read comics.
Yeah. I have, and I know we got a couple questions here, but I have started this thing, and I started New Year's Day, where I'm going to read at least 1 comic a day. Some days I read 10, but at least 1 comic a day. That's kind of the minimum. And so far, as of today, I'm up to 463 books. And I'm not counting the ones that I read for my show, for my list books. I'm counting the ones that I read for, for enjoyment, for my free time. It doesn't feel like a chore. It just helps me keep track and know that once I start reading a comic, there are times I get so busy I couldn't read last year. Like there were times I was so busy I couldn't read. So I was so far out of the loop. Doing it this way is like at least one comic. And sometimes that one comic turns into, okay, well now I want to check this out. So I'll read anywhere from 1 to, there was one time I read 20 because the story was just so good. I just kept reading and lost track of time. And I love that. But I understand for a lot of folks, reading comics every day is not easy. You do got to carve out a little bit of time. But just one a day, folks. That's all I'll say. One a day when you got some time.
I'll tell you this, guys. All right. Reading comics beats fucking scrolling on this bullshit with all your fucking like negative political commentary bullshit. Fuck all that. Pick up a fucking comic and read it. Honestly, you'll get so much more enjoyment out of this. 15 minutes, you're sitting on the crapper. Fucking read a comic. What the fuck? It's honestly it's worth it. It actually releases endorphins. Whereas when you're on your phone doom scrolling, you're actually like getting sucked into a cycle of negative thinking. You get into a comic and it pulls you into a different world. It gets you thinking about things. Not this comic though. I didn't really care for this comic very much, but I'm sorry. I shouldn't say such bad things about this. So we got absolute. I got to really work on the camera for this. It can move, but I'm not gonna fuck with it right now. So everyone goes apeshit over Absolute Wonder Woman. Like aside from Absolute Batman, everybody goes apeshit over Absolute Wonder Woman.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really care for this, but I read it anyway. I've had every issue and everything so far. It's okay, but like honestly, like it kind of ranks as low as like Absolute Green Lantern does for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Wonder Woman. I've read good Wonder Woman runs before. Like Greg Rucka's run was great. The George Perez stuff was really good. So I read like the first 30 plus issues of Tom King's Wonder Woman. So well versed in the character. I get everything that's going on here. I'm just having a really hard time caring about it to the point where I'm like at the edge of my seat. And I'm glad that it's doing well. I'm going to continuously read this book because I know that at some point I'll be able to resell it for good money. So I have every single issue of it. But man, I'm just really not inspired by this Wonder Woman. She's got everything that should work to make her cool. Like she was raised in hell. She's got all this stuff that, separates her from the, mainline Wonder Woman. But I just feel like I just don't care about anything that's going on in her story. And everybody loves this. I am the, I am the only one who's calling this book out for not being that great. But like, and it's not that this issue is particularly like bad. I don't have anything. This is going to get a 3 out of 5 from me, because it's fine. Like the art is serviceable, but nothing's screaming out here and telling me like, oh my God, this is like the greatest book ever. She fights a Cerberus here and some other monster. And, there's some other things happening in hell. And then there's things happening on Earth because she gets sent back to hell every 30 days. And so she only has limited time on Earth to do things. And then she has to spend the rest of the time in hell. And they're building up to some like big stuff here. I mean, definitely the next issue is, going to have something big happen in it. In this particular issue, she's trying to protect her mom, and she realizes that she's not going to be able to do that forever. And I kind of dig that. I do like it enough to keep going with it, but I'm not going to say that this is as compelling as the other Absolute books. If you like this, your mileage may vary. God bless you. This gets a 3 out of 5 for me.
Yeah, as far as the Absolute stuff goes, I am only really caught up on Superman and Absolute Green Arrow.
Oh yeah, the Green Arrow stuff has been great.
Yeah, and that's not for lack of interest. It's just there's just so much stuff, y'all. Like in the Ghost Machine stuff, Red Coat is the only one I'm caught up on.
Yeah, we were talking about Red Coat too when when I was back on the experience. Hold on, I'm just gonna try and switch up this camera here because I would really like to be able to see the whole comic here, and it doesn't look like we can do that really.
No.
Just because of how this pans over here. So unfortunately, I can't turn this camera around. I'll try and fix it for next time. But okay, it'll just be what it is. This is a work in progress here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the first episode of Compen Comics Conversation, 3 Ks in a row.
I thought it was Suck My Balls.
Oh yeah, Suck My Balls. The Onrie'S Compen review show. All right. So this is the last issue of Swamp Thing from Rick Veitch's Swamp Thing 1984. And when I was on your show, when I was on Hydra Solemn last week, you were talking about that because you were reading the Swamp Thing stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I had never read that before. Actually, this is my first foray into all that Alan Moore Swamp Thing stuff. And what really kind of brought me to it was how they tied these heavy religious themes into it. But if you could kind of reiterate your thoughts on what you read and tell us what you read first, then I'll kind of go into segue about my thoughts on this book.
So at that time, really the only thing I had read was Green Hell, which that book was fantastic. I had never really read any of the Alan Moore stuff, and that was one of my list books. So reading it, I read 2 or 3 issues of it. I'm definitely continuing on with it, but they take this view of the character of Swamp Thing is not Alec Holland got turned into Swamp Thing. It is this sentient being has the consciousness of Alec Holland, and we're following that. So again, not reading a ton of Swamp Thing. Again, it was cartoons and the movies and stuff like that as a kid. That made me think of, well, the Swamp Thing show that they did that was only a season, which was the best thing they've done. Sorry, I got to mention that every time. It feels like it pulled a lot from that story because it was the same way in that one. You have this monster thinking he has all the memories of Alec Holland. He believes deep down inside he's Alec Holland. And this was apparently kind of a big switch up from what the character had normally been and kind of just turned the horror genre up to 11 for DC because it's a very horror-inspired book. I said I'm not very deep into it, but from what I've heard from the person that suggested it, which was Nope, Mr. Nope suggested that one, it's kind of one of like the quintessential things for Swamp Thing that, if you've never read anything, it's a perfect thing to jump into. Like it starts at issue 20.
80. Oh, okay, it's 20 in the run.
In the Saga of the Swamp Thing, I think is what it's titled. His part starts at issue 20. And I wasn't lost at all, and I get lost very easily. But I wasn't lost at all reading it. But I love when you can take a character that could be such a it's a Swamp Thing. It's a guy who controls the green, but makes you feel emotions, makes you feel for this character, makes you root for him. Like I love when comics do that, when a writer can make you care about something that otherwise would be like, oh, he's just a cool green monster. But you feel for the guy, and then you find out, well, he's not really a guy, but you still feel for him. You're like, this dude is kind of like Junkyard Joe. He's more human than most humans. And I just, like I said, it's a fantastic run. I've heard great things about this one.
Yeah, this was amazing.
Yeah.
Just FYI, this is a 5 out of 5 for me. All of these issues have been great because in order to get this book made, a lot of things had to happen at DC. And you could see that the company has really taken a turn to really put content first. You know why DC is doing as well as it's doing right now is because they're using corporate strategies to market comics, but they're making comics the way comics are supposed to be made. Yeah. And that is how you create. That's the perfect formula. Because look, when you have the manpower and you're as large as these companies, you're a corporation. You can't escape that. Okay. But how you market these comics should not interfere with the creative process of making these comics. And the fact that they're actually looking back and saying, look, we had a comic that came out that was controversial at one point. We didn't publish the story. We're going to do it now. Says a lot. And everything you just said about Swamp Thing kind of culminates here, because that's what I thought throughout this whole thing. So, this whole story takes Swamp Thing throughout time. It gets lost in time while his wife is giving birth to their child, who they end up naming JC. And, eventually this child gets born, and the wife is, Swamp Thing's wife is like, I don't want our kid growing up in this world. And Constantine has a big role to play in this. And Constantine helps out a lot. I don't really want to spoil this, but when you buy this book, when you buy any of these issues, you guys have to read the backup content, because every single issue features, extra, like an afterword by one of the creators, like the Swamp Things. And they had one that was written by Stephen Bissett. This one's actually written by Rick Veitch, and he talks about the process and the things that he appreciates. So for anyone who's like a diehard comic fan, you owe it to yourself to read this. Like, this is going to probably be collected into a trade soon. Buy the damn trade. I thought this was going to be a 6-part story. It ended up being a 4-parter. Like, it's definitely done after this. I'd be surprised if there'd be another one. But this was really fantastic. This gets a 5 out of 5 for me. I loved it.
Yeah, I'll definitely be picking up that trade, because I've heard so many great things about it. Like, trying to look for it though, it's like Swamp Thing 1989 #1, even though the issue number is 80 something, 88.
Yeah, it's like 88, 89, something like that. Yeah, and then it ends at 91. Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, it was really good. And I enjoy books like that. I mean, it's just like, that's a treat. That's like something like that. A lot of strings had to be pulled so that we could have this. The creators did this work like 30 years ago, and they were just told, this is not gonna get published. And Rick Veitch, the writer, he was actually like writing about how back when he found out that story was not going to be published, he was really upset about it, and how like he could put that to rest now because they finally did it. So 30 years down the road, he's like, I finally can put this story to rest. And that's really such an amazing thing. And not all the creators are still are alive. Like Mike Zulli, he's not alive anymore. So it's really like just such an incredible effort, and I appreciate that kind of stuff. That speaks so much to me and everything. Next book here, Wonder Man. So this is the final issue of the latest Wonder Man comic that came out, and this is a very fun comic. It's very lighthearted. The cover is very misleading because it makes you think like that there's some big ultimate battle here, but there's really not. It's almost like watching an episode of like not Friends, but something just really lighthearted, where a bunch of things that it's like a mystery unfolding, but everything ends on a high note. And I love that too. Like everything in comics doesn't always have to be dark and mysterious, and hell doesn't always have to be like breaking loose, and things don't always have to end on this dour note. Yeah, this ends on a high note, and it's really great, and the characters are very much in line with what with how they are written and who they are. And I enjoyed this a lot. Wonder Man was really great, and it doesn't need to go on from there. It's like it just makes you feel good, and I like that. That's good storytelling, and because of that, I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5. It's slightly above average. I wouldn't say it's like holy shit, you need to buy this comic, but this was good. You know, it was a fun read. Do you have any experience with Wonder Man? Any other Wonder?
I have not. I've been interested in checking out the series, but again, just like with there's so much stuff to read, there's so much stuff to watch. I recently just finished The Penguin. Okay, that's the last big thing I watched.
Oh, that was a great show. That was a damn good show.
It was so good.
Yeah, it was so good that we were talking about it on your show with Ed. And I know how much Ed loves that Batman movie, but like, man, that Penguin show, like, it was so damn good. It makes you want more Batman. Yeah, and the fact that they're delaying it, I feel for Ed. I really do feel for Ed. I as someone who I know who appreciated that movie and wanted to see Batman done right, which honestly, Robert Pattinson was not a bad Batman.
Right.
He was a terrible Bruce Wayne, in my opinion, with all the black makeup and stuff. But as Batman, like he was better than Christian Bale being like, swear to me, like there wasn't, he didn't overdo the Batman role. He just kind of like stuck with it. And I just wish the mystery, I wish it was written a little sharper. And by a little, I mean a lot sharper.
That's fair.
Compared to the Penguin, which was a sharply written show. I mean, you had his his henchman dude. I mean, the arc with that kid was just phenomenal.
I got done with it and I texted Ed and I said, I was rooting for Oz. And then that happened. And I was like, nah, to hell with this dude. To hell with him. Nope.
He's a piece of shit.
I got Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be, hey, we're going to make him, we're going to show his tragic backstory. You're going to feel for him. You're going to want him to win. After that, I was like, nope, go to hell.
Actually, I didn't feel for him when he was a kid and he killed his brothers.
Yeah.
What a piece of shit. And what he did to his moms. That was terrible.
Weird. It was a weird thing to me. That was almost like a little bit of Oedipus going on.
Yeah, it was. There was a lot of Oedipus shit going on, but it was good Oedipus shit. Because you didn't see it on the surface at all, Yeah. But it came together really nicely. Okay, so this next book here, I have no idea why the fuck I'm still reading it. I'm just tired of this book, but I keep picking it up every month. And you know what got me to pick it up was fucking Blade on the cover. I was gonna drop this. I don't even remember where the last issue left off. Like Moon Knight went into a living building and tried to fight it with a big sword and couldn't kill it or whatever. And that was the end of the arc. So now he's like, okay, I need a team of, like superheroes who can help me out. And so he builds a new Midnight Suns, which includes Clea Strange, Daredevil, and Blade, who shows up like in the last few seconds of this book. I think we should have seen the entire Midnight Suns team here. Why are we just seeing Moon Knight and Blade? I'm expecting a Moon Knight and Blade team-up book where they're just like working together like Spider-Man and Daredevil. We don't get that here. The artwork is great. I mean, honestly, I can't complain about the artwork, but it's kind of nonsensical. Like, it just kind of goes all over the place. And this is one of those things where at times I kind of feel like if I'm looking at the page, I can't tell what's going on. Oh, yeah, and Ghost Rider's here.
Hey, Robbie Reyes.
So they brought Robbie Reyes in here, and that's cool. I mean, I'm happy they brought Robbie Reyes in here. And, yeah, Moon Knight's, like, trying to team up with Blade, and Blade's like, fuck you, Moon Knight, and blah, blah, blah. And, oh, look, Punisher and Deadpool are having a team up. And then Daredevil, he's just recruiting everybody here. So you see, this is not a Blade that, like, the cover is very misleading. It's not telling us what's actually happening here. You know what I mean? It's a bit misleading. And I get that they're building out a new team and everything like that, and that could be cool, but like, I just, this just feels like every other comic to me. Like, I want to like Moon Knight. I wish this was one of those shining Marvel books for me. And I've read some good Moon Knight, but this is just standard Moon Knight. Like, it's okay. I'm honestly going to give this probably like it's an average book. It's a 3 out of 5. What am I going to say? I can't knock it for anything. What's up, Jenna? How you doing?
Great. I got Jay a present, and I kind of want him to show it off in front of you guys.
Let's do it. Here.
You ready?
Okay.
Go ahead. Jenna, it's so good to see you.
Okay.
We got to start making this. We got to start making this a habit.
Here you
Oh,
go.
that's
Now
awesome.
open your eyes. Look at the two.
Oh,
That is awesome. She's
I
a
love
keeper,
that.
Jay. She is a keeper.
hell yeah. I love that.
And it's based off the Deadpool Valentine's Day special cover. You get it for free. It's got a digital of it for free.
Oh,
Oh, there you go.
reading after this. Oh, I love that. That is awesome.
That is so cool.
Okay, sorry, didn't mean
Thank
to
you.
interrupt. I just really wanted
You
to
did
share
no. You do not need to apologize. You came in here to share awesomeness with us. We love you, Jenna. You're the best.
Well, I can't wait for him to take it out because this Deadpool has wings.
You know what else has wings? Red Bull.
Which I've
Red Bull
got
has
Fridge
wings.
for me.
Super dope, man.
That is really cool.
Thank you. This is
You
going
know
on.
my stuff?
Show this off one more time.
Well, I'm going to get him a knife because it's taped closed, so we can open it. Or we got
That
the-
is awesome. What a nice, lovely gift.
And that's why I tell people when they're like, "Oh, you just say your wife's awesome because whatever." And like, no, my wife honestly is awesome.
Your wife is awesome. I love
My
Jenna.
sword
Jenna
is
is the
dull.
bomb.
Oh my goodness.
The
Hold on.
sword that I have is dull. What?
Kyle's comment here.
Jeez, Kyle. What am I? Oh,
Hey, I think Jay was a little worried when I mentioned my whole wet wings comment, but you know, I love how you guys are with each other and how much respect you have for one another and how
Well,
much
here's
love
the
there clearly
secret,
is.
Henry. Here's the
Yes.
secret. It's all mine.
it's true.
Yeah. Well, I thought the secret was you're always angry, like Bruce Banner in Avengers.
Oh, I am always angry, but I can't. There you go. Now you can take it out.
Okay.
That's awesome.
This
Thanks
is
for
all
popping
mine.
in, Jenna. You're
I'm
awesome.
an orange lantern for a reason.
I said, thank
The
you.
orange lantern.
You're very welcome. I always enjoy saying hi.
We love having you here.
I can't wait
Oh.
to take. I can't wait for him to take it out either.
It's got too many twisty things in the back, man.
No, I will undo the twisty thing.
I don't want to hold up Onrie's refuse too much.
Oh, these are cutty things. These aren't twisty things.
Wow. Thank you.
Why?
It's all right. The cutty twisty away. It's all good. When you get a special cameo from Jenna, you stop.
Exactly.
You know, even Mr. even
Zach
Zach
knows.
knows what's up. He knows what's up. Everybody knows what's up. All right. So Detective
Whoa.
Comics number 1111.
I'm really excited for this one when I saw the cover.
It's great.
Mm.
It's really great. It's got some Watchmen vibes going for it. This is a part of a longer arc. So Batman, Black Canary, and Green Arrow, they teamed up with this other superhero who was kind of like Robin. And I forgot his name. I always forget his name, but we're gonna see what the name is real quick. A Prion. Prion is his name.
Ryan.
Yeah, Prion. And you know he teams up with they kind of create like a trifecta team. And this right here is their logo. And by the way, Detective Comics is probably like my third favorite DC comic right now. Like if I had to say my top 3, it would be Absolute Batman. Actually, sorry, top 5. Definitely top 10. All right. Aside from mainline Batman, Absolute Batman, and the Absolute Green Arrow, this is probably one of my favorite books. But anyway, they created this team here, Something big is about to happen here, so I'm not going to spoil it for anybody who hasn't read it yet. This is a really, really goddamn good run here. And like I said, it's got a lot of Watchmen vibes going for it. And I highly recommend checking this out. The artwork is phenomenal. You got Tom Taylor and Michael Janin on the creative duties for this book. Now, this is an example of a book that is expertly written and expertly illustrated. It's very easy to follow what the artist is doing, but what the writer is doing is he's enhancing the scene. And he's adding dialogue that's going to push the story forward. You see a balance throughout the whole thing. This is a good book for many, many reasons. And I can't recommend it enough. Everything feels balanced here. Nothing feels like you're getting stuck, or you're flipping through pages of no context and then get gobsmacked with these big pages full of context. Everything is balanced. And this is the makings of a great comic here. This gets a 5 out of 5 for me. This is exactly what you want in a comic. And I cannot wait for the next issue, because that's the issue that's going to end the run, end the arc, and it's been great. I love it.
So is the arc just going to be these 2 issues, or was there an issue before?
No, it was 6 issues.
Really?
It's actually, sorry about my cough.
Nice.
This is part 5 of 6.
Oh, wow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I really need to jump on this one.
Yeah, this one is really good. I mean, honestly, Tom Taylor has really impressed me with a lot of his artwork, with a lot of his writing. Particularly, his his Nightwing run. This is really damn good. So I got 3 more books to review, Jay, and then we'll call it a night here.
Okay.
So we got Absolute Superman number 21. This, honestly, this trumps pretty much every other Absolute book. In terms of artwork, it's better than Absolute Batman. Rafa Sandoval, the artist, is fantastic. I mean, honestly, everybody's going apeshit over Absolute Batman number 1's cover. Everybody's homaging it. Everybody's ripping it off. I am shocked, utterly shocked, that no one has done any sort of homage to Absolute Superman number 1's cover, because that cover is epic. And the entire series so far has been fantastic. Like, you can't go wrong with this. So in this issue, Superman battles Black Adam here. Not going to spoil it for you guys, but it closes off the arc. And where things go from here is just, we don't know. But it's not gonna be good for Superman. It's not going to be good for Earth. This is fantastic, and the way they've changed up the history of Black Adam has been great. Like, he was actually controlled by the Brainiacs. Like, that's how he got his power. And that's really awesome. I love the tie to Brainiac. Jason Aaron has been doing phenomenal on this. Like, honestly, when they launched the Absolute line, I thought this was going to just be a temporary thing. The fact that they're just going on with this and they're like, we're going to keep doing this, we're going to keep telling these stories, I think is fantastic. Keep making these books, guys. You're doing great. Like, don't lose sight of what you're doing. This is amazing comics.
Yeah, the fact that the first arc of this book is him against, and I'm going to say it wrong, but this is how I say it, Ra's al Ghul.
That is right. What
everybody says it's Raj.
There's no J in there.
So the fact that Ra's al Ghul is his main baddie in the first arc of this was just okay. And then we see Lex, and you want to talk about a book that shocked me was the scene with Brainiac, and I won't spoil it for folks who haven't read the series yet, but it's a horror scene. I can't believe they put that in this book. I never thought I would see something like that in a Superman book with what happens when Brainiac visits Lex.
Totally.
It's fantastic. It is so good. I love how this one has ultimate absolute Hawkman. Has absolute
he's
Steel.
Great too. Honestly, I'm surprised that Absolute Hawkman hasn't been announced yet.
And I was reading this. I read this before when I heard Absolute Green Arrow was coming out. Somebody was like, "You need to read Absolute Evil."
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I skipped that one, right?
Yeah,
I skipped that one. Once I read it, though,
that was great.
I was like, I don't
was
like
great.
Hawkman as much as I.
No, and honestly, he plays a big role here. He plays a
Yeah.
very big role here, and you're not going to like him. He's a very unlikable character in this world. But like the one that I really feel is completely disconnected from everything is Green Lantern. And I also think Martian Manhunter too. Like Martian Manhunter is like, it's too out there for me. Like I've read the entire thing, but I feel like I have to go back and read it again. But they introduced Steel here, like Absolute Steel. Steel's cool. Like this has been great. This again is a 5 out of 5 for me. A lot of 5 out of 5 books for me this week, guys. Like, and when I say it's a 5 out of 5, that means go to your comic shop, pick it up, wait for the trade, do whatever it takes, but read these books. This is why I'm reviewing them, is because I'm telling you, these aren't the average ones. This isn't like another issue of Spider-Man. This is actual good comics with good context. Again, I'm just going to go over this again. What are the makings of a good comic? To me, the making of a good comic is excellent sequential storytelling with added context that moves the story to another level. That brings the caption should be pulling you deeper into the story. This is exactly what Absolute Superman does so expertly well, issue to issue, cover to cover. Even when they get a fill-in artist on this book, they're still doing it right. Yeah. It is absolutely fantastic. Pick this up.
Yep. All right, 100% agreed with you, man.
2 more books and we're done here, Jay. So I got Superman, latest issue of Superman. Have you read any of this run when Joshua Williamson started?
No, I haven't, but I need to. I read a little bit of Batman, Superman, World's Finest.
Yeah.
When it had that Earth 3 story arc in it.
Yeah, you got me on that. You got me on that. Now I'm reading it, and that's been great too.
But that's also, I saw Manchester Black on here, and I was like, okay.
Yeah, okay. I love Manchester Black. I got his first appearance. Like, love this character, and I love how he was introduced initially in Action Comics, because he was this sort of like younger, hipper version of Superman. He was the edgelord version of Superman, like literally the British edgelord version of Superman. But he was really a piece of shit until Superman gave him a lobotomy and he didn't have access to his powers anymore.
That was the What's So Funny About Truth, Justice, and the American Way?
Yep.
Storyline? Okay, yeah.
That was a great story. Well, this concludes another arc. So for those of you guys who haven't been following Superman lately, Superboy Prime, who was sort of the main bad guy of Infinite Crisis, or Crisis.
I think so. I get those mixed up all the time.
Yeah, I think it's Infinite Crisis, the one that came out in the 2000s. So Superboy Prime's story is he comes from our world, from our reality, and he gets sucked into into the DC Earth 2. Yeah. Is it Earth 2? What Earth are they on?
Don't get me lying about that. I never.
Yeah. Whatever the DC main line is, he's in this world now. He got arrested for, killing the Superboy of the comics world, and eventually he broke out, and he teamed up with Superman. And Superman was trying to kind of mentor him, and then everything with DCKO happened, and now Superman's gone. So Superboy Prime has stepped in, and not everybody trusts Superboy Prime. And, Superboy Prime has done bad things. He's killed people. He's not a perfect Superman. He's not these are very big shoes for him to fill. But he steps into it, and he's always constantly breaking the fourth wall because he comes from our reality. So he reads comics. He actually, as his alter ego, KC, he works at a comic shop. And, suddenly he's doing battle with Manchester Black, who has these psychic powers. And, mind-bending alternate reality powers, and now he knows that Superboy Prime comes from this other world, and so he's trying to control that reality. So in the issue that comes prior to this one, you see a huge experimentation of very different styles being explored as they're doing this really amazing breakdown and battle at the same time. It's really incredible. You've never seen the fourth wall broken this way before. But then on top of that, we got this issue here that concludes the story. So their final confrontation's here. And what ends up happening in this book turns out to be one of the most sincere love letters to comics ever, showing us why we should be reading comics, why we should be adoring comics. And I honestly cannot recommend this Superman series enough for anyone right now. I get it. You all want your absolute stuff. You all want like the stuff that's hot right now. I get it. This book here, this is why you will always come back to comics, is because of this book here. It is phenomenal. It is so underrated. Dan Moore on artwork, Joshua Williamson, who I honestly think is this generation's version of Mark Waid. He is that good of a writer. I can't recommend this enough. This is such a good book. If I could give it a 6 out of 5, I would. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking for this one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, this is good stuff. Last book I'm going to review, and again, it's written by Josh Williamson. We got Blood of the Wolfman #2. Joshua Williamson, he wrote that Superman book too. This guy is just firing on all cylinders right now as a writer. He's putting out such great stuff. And you can feel his energy and his love for all the things that he's writing. You feel his love for comics when he's writing Superman. You feel his love for Superman when he's writing Superman. But now you feel his love for horror, and particularly the Wolfman. This is a great book. And the artwork in here by Leo Max, absolutely fantastic. I'll show it to you guys. Jay, have you checked this out yet?
Nope, but I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah. This is, if I could get you hooked on this, I would say we'd be even for you putting me on to World's Finest. But this is great. It's just good, wholesome horror. About the Wolfman. It's leading up to some really awesome stuff. Not a very violent book, but the violence is coming. And the violence is psychological. And again, we talk about what makes a great comic. Once again, I'm going to say it's good sequentials paired with great context. And you got it all happening here in this book. Even when it's a static scene with the main character having a conversation with a therapist, it is the most intense conversation that you can have with a therapist. That's good comics. That's good storytelling. And I love when I see things like this happening, because you're not getting it in Spider-Man right now. That's for sure. This is what Spider-Man is not doing right now. And if you tell me that you can't write good Spider-Man, all the good Spider-Man stories have been told, bull fucking shit. Yeah. 2 years ago, we had Ultimate Spider-Man, and for 25 issues, we had the best Spider-Man book out on the market. Did we not, Jay?
Yeah, you're not wrong, man.
It can be done. I believe that with the right creative team and the right, motivation, anything can be done. 5 out of 5 on this one. This was great. And I'm going to have to say, man, 5 out of 5 on this show. I want to tell you, you're such a busy guy doing all the things you're doing for the experience, running your own channel, doing all these things. Thank you for being here tonight, and thank you for taking the time to hang out with me.
Absolutely, man. Like when you gave me the invite, I was like, I haven't really read anything, but hell yeah, I want to be on the show with you, and I want to hear you, because you're such a strong voice, not only in indie comics, but for the mainstream stuff as well. You're done reviewing, but I want you to do this, and I know people in the chat want you to do this. We don't care if we've heard it a million times. Tell us about your books, man.
Oh, Jesus, man. You got to make me pitch my fun. Oh.
Yes.
Oh, gosh.
Every time I'm going to do that.
Every damn time. Making me work now.
that you don't talk about your stuff enough, man, and you need to.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what it is, Jay. In all honesty, the reason why I don't really like talk about my comics when I'm on the air is because most of the people who are watching these shows have heard my pitch like 1,000 times. You know, it's on the rare chance that like I get to see somebody who is new to what I do, but you know that'll pop in here. But like that's kind of the interesting thing about being on Whatnot now is that I am starting to see that. Like over the weekend, I did a show and you know I sold a couple copies of Warline while I was on while I was streaming on there. So that was really cool. But I'll give everybody a quick 30-second pitch. I mean, it's always good to practice. I can definitely, the con season's about to pick up again for me. So, you know, it's good to polish those skills. But I wrote this comic series here called Yisun Shin, and I'm still working on the series. I've been publishing it now for 17 years. And Yisun Shin is about a Korean admiral that battled the Japanese samurai in the 1500s. He was outnumbered 10-1, and he never lost the battle. And it's all based on a true story. And I have the first 4 issues here that you guys can buy from my website. It is, just remember, www.pornhub.com/Onrie'S. That's not my site. It's not my site. My site is www.okcomicsonline.com. You can buy Yisun Shin there. If you buy them for me, I will sign them and ship them right to your front door. Or you can shop with me on Whatnot. I will be streaming tomorrow night at 5 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're doing a Black Panther and Ghost Rider themed show. And I will always have my books on there. I will always be pitching my books on there. And another thing I want to point out with Yisun Shin, we actually had Stan Lee write the forward to our hardcover edition of the book, which collects the first 4 issues. Here's a picture of me and Stan right here. I had to push past a bunch of nerds in line at a convention and threatened to break Stan Lee's legs with a solid kick to the kneecaps. And Stan was mightily frightened of me and my Russian demeanor, and he immediately took this picture with me for hiding behind his booth and crying. That did not happen either, but you know, there we go. You wanted a pitch, I gave you a damn pitch. There.
Fucking awesome. That was fucking awesome, man.
Hey man, well, thank you very much. And Jay, did you drop the you did drop your page here for Hydrosolemn Comics. So folks, if you haven't followed Jay's channel, please do so. You know, Jay is really passionate about comics. You know, we both work together. He was my producer when I was at The Experience, and I absolutely love working with this guy. I love having a friendship with this guy, and I look forward to coming back on your show at some point. I hope we can have you back on here at some point as well. The invite's always open, my brother.
Same, man. Same. It was so awesome to see you and Roberto. Man, that was open invite. Y'all got that link. That link is the same every time. Whenever y'all got some free time on Saturday, you want to pop in. You don't have to stay for very long. You just want to pop in and talk about something for a minute. By all means, please do that.
Absolutely. Well, before we go, I just want to add a couple things. So I'm going to post the link for my Whatnot show tomorrow. Once again, we're doing Ghost Rider, Black Panther books tomorrow because, you know, the big news that got released. I also have a bunch of other stuff here. So the collection's here, some other awesome books here. It's just like Kicking It with Onrie, the live shopping show. It's just now on Whatnot. And what that means is you're getting your stuff faster. As soon as the book is sold, I ship it out because you guys pay for it right away. There's no waiting for invoicing or anything. Everything's measured out, weighed out in advance, and the books come out to you immediately. I had a show on Saturday. I shipped everything out today. I hope to see you guys on there. And if not, I'll be back here doing shows too, through the Mukbang reviews or the Copen concentration comics.
Suck
podcast.
my balls.
Or suck my balls. Yeah, suck my balls too, you know, like whatever the case is. But and another thing I want to do before I head out, I have. I'm going to be hanging out here right now. There's a friend of mine who has her own Whatnot channel. She actually lives really close to me, and she is flipping comics, and she's on Whatnot right now. So as soon as I'm done here, I'm actually going to go check out her show. So feel free to come hang out with me over there right now on Whatnot. But thanks again, guys. I appreciate it. Jay, thank you. I'm going to let you go so you can go do your thing. Everyone have a good night. I will see you next week with another mukbang. Take care.